in staff numbers, it has to be at the same level. And my concern is that a broad brush will be applied to both local government, the health sector, and the education sector, and as a result will impact locally. I think it's important for us all to remember that the local impact of Cork County Council, just if you look at the spend, at 750 million last year, that's about 14 million per week, 2 million per day. A payroll bill of 154 million. Well, there's a hue and cry to cut the payroll bill. That payroll bill is spent in our county, in your business. So the immediate effect will be locally here in Cork. So I think the local economic impact can't be underestimated. And I think the other issue that's presenting itself is the whole area of our own charges in terms of our commercial rate increase, our development levies, and our charge for non-domestic water. We're, I suppose, currently debating the extent to which, in the current economic climate, what can be borne by each of those sectors. So I think we have a big local impact. I think in that debate about the public service, it tends to be something that nobody associates with bricks and mortar. I think at local level, we will feel the impact, and you will feel the impact. And I think it's important that we make sure that we manage that process. I suppose just to conclude in terms of looking at the past and looking at the framework, a number of issues that we're developing across in County Hall with the elected members. And there are a number of, I suppose, exciting opportunities I see that will come, and I think a good project will find resources and will find a future regardless. I suppose top of our list at the moment at this point in time is we have unfinished business in relation to the special local area plan for the airport, which is promised in the county development plan. We've just, I suppose, got an update from our consultants, KSA, and I must say I'm very impressed with their approach to the airport and how its future should be developed over the next 30 years. I think we have a very good professional piece of work done as to how the airport should be planned for over 30 odd years. It does present issues and funding problems, etc. But we will bring that to our council hopefully between now and the end of the year, and we've consulted with a number of stakeholders up to now. But that's a very important piece of work. I think our airport is vitally important to our future. Science and Technology Park has been talked about back as far as 2001 in CASP. There was a number of locations pointed to in CASP, and shortly after taking up duty, when I reviewed the proposal at the Cork Park proposal, we've revisited that now, and I think there's again an exciting opportunity for science and technology at a location adjacent to CIT at Cork. Again, we're not prepared at this point in time to bring it into the public arena, but we've a lot of work done, and I think it's an opportunity that we'll be outlining to the various business interests and investors in the next short while, hopefully between now and the end of the year, or probably in January. And it's one area I think that we have a location that you can't find anywhere else adjacent to CIT. We have a great interest from IDA, Enterprise Ireland, and the enterprise partners, and the colleges. And I think we have something that we can make happen. Even though there's an economic downturn, I think now is the time to start investing when the future upturn will arrive. Particularly in West Cork, we've completed a study of the marine leisure tourism infrastructure on 719 kilometres of West Coast coastline. It's a very impressive document done together with UCC, and it really looks at what we have, which is substantial. It also looks at the potential in the clustering, and we've developed a view as to how best to develop that clustering infrastructure across the west. We intend to develop that now for the southern coastline, so that we'll be able to present Cork, I suppose, as a marine leisure and tourism centre. We've achieved that in the Scottish Ireland's strategic plan, and we're just back, as you probably know, from La Rochelle, where we took pride of place in terms of showcasing what Cork has to do in terms of marine and leisure. I think we've had a very successful trip with over 100 odd various exhibitors travelling with us. I think since I've arrived in Cork, and in my time previous in Cork City, Cork Harbour is regularly talked about as, I suppose, one of the jewels of the crown that we have. I think there's a big job to be done on it, and when I look at Cork Harbour, I see a lot of conflicting views in terms of what it should be used for, and who should get preeminence. I think one of the levers that I see enabling Cork Harbour, I suppose, to move on another step, is I think Spike Island is just waiting to be developed. And while we haven't anything we can announce, we certainly have been working with the prison service in very positive terms about how we could secure that through the County Council and make Spike, I suppose, as a centre inside the Cork Harbour that might develop the concept of the harbour as both an economic area and a tourism and leisure focus. I think the other opportunity I point to, I suppose, in the current audience is that things are going to get very, very tight. I think one of the advantages Cork has is that we do work very well with public and private. We do have our differences, we do have our tensions. But when there's going to be less money around, I think that's where those competitive locations that get together and make sure things happen are going to win out. And lastly, I'd say to you, in terms of economic development, there's been a huge amount of work done in CASP on the economic strategy. Alan Gray from Indicon has done quite a lot of research and produced quite a lot of top papers. While it would have been a very high target to show 45,000 net jobs, I think in the economic climate we're in, we need to revisit that working. We need to set up structures under CASP that are going to make it happen. And there are issues about skill bases, employment opportunities. And I think Indicon's view of the future of employment in Cork was slightly different than what we started off with. And I think we should revisit that, because that is where the future potential in growing Cork is. If we can't grow the jobs, we won't get the population and we won't get the economic activity. And lastly, I suppose, just to put up on the slide an extract from the NSS, just to remind ourselves in terms of how the country is seen in terms of development corridors, etc. We all know Dublin and the Belfast corridor is growing rapidly. I think the Dundalk and Dublin corridor is well served in terms of road infrastructure and is powering ahead. I think when you look at the fact that we have 9 gateways, I think the time has come to ask, in the current economic climate, if you want to get the best bang for your buck, do we need 9 gateways or should we have 4? What's Cork's position in that? We are very much the southern tip of it. And if you look at the Atlantic corridor, which is the kind of beige presentation of it, I pose a question in the sense the Atlantic corridor, certainly the NRA is very strong in terms of their investment programme. If that becomes the new investment target in terms of the NRA, have we positioned ourselves to be at the centre of it? Where will the Atlantic corridor start? Will it start in the west and work its way down? Will it start in Cork and work its way up? And I think the Cork and Limerick connection is something we should look at a bit farther outside of Cork, particularly when we look at Mallon's potential on that corridor in terms of a development corridor. And I know that at times, I suppose, finding partners and negotiating partnerships can be difficult. But if we don't, I think what we're facing is an Atlantic corridor with a number of gateways along it, competing with a Dublin, Dundalk, Belfast corridor, which has certainly, again, has captured the minds in terms of a presentation of a corridor. So I'd leave with that last slide in terms of where the future in terms of outside Cork should be. And we tend to look inwards in Cork in terms of, we have a very good attractive location, but maybe we need to think about how we build alliances and reposition ourselves. So with that, thank you very much, and I hope you all have a very good morning. I didn't enjoy my breakfast, but I will as soon as the questions and answers are over. Any questions? I was going to try and prompt some of my own management team to ask me a simple question to get started. I won't be insulted if there is no question.
May I ask about water service? And do you see the prospect of another dam, another Inniscarra being built around or Cork, or a need for something like that?
No, we've done a preliminary kind of water strategic study, and Inniscarra, what comes out of that as a key asset, it can be upscaled in large quantums, very cost effectively.